Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Hello. Hello, listeners. Friends, I should say. Margot here. I'm by myself. And I don't have a ton for this bonus. And I know that once again, I'm trying to do it on Zoom. And you know what I said to myself? I'm gonna do my hair. I'm gonna put on an adult shirt, meaning like one that doesn't have holes and stains and fits incorrectly, or one that fits correctly. I'm going to put on a real bra, not a sports bra. And maybe I'm going to put on some makeup for this bonus and for tomorrow's actual episode. I clearly did not do any of those things. I just took my hair out of a ponytail. I am wearing my sports bra and workout shirt, and I have not a stitch of makeup on this face. So, apologies to people on Patreon if you're watching this. And everyone else, it doesn't matter because you're not watching this. Although I was thinking maybe I'll wait till I actually wear makeup to put these back on YouTube. First and foremost, I'm sure she's not listening, but it is one of my best friend's birthdays today. So happy birthday to Nicole. Yeah, I don't have a ton to talk about, but I have a few things that I wrote down. And I have a new episode for this week. I have an episode to record with my friend Jackie on Friday. I think I mentioned that on the last bonus episode. And then I have like a mini episode that doesn't take place in the Southwest. I don't know. When I was researching episodes today, I came across it. I came across an article about this story. And I was like, well, it doesn't take place in the Southwest. But I was just curious. I was interested. So I kept reading about it. And I found it, heartbreakingly sad, but fascinating, and thought, maybe I'll do a mini episode. I didn't spend days researching it and collecting information. I literally just spent today. So there's actually not that much information on it. So I don't know if it would be possible to do more. And it's probably not like a full hour long thing, and it doesn't take place in the Southwest. But I wrote a mini episode, I guess you would call it. And I was thinking maybe I'm not going to record it on this bonus, because people who see bonus in the in the title, there's a lot of people who are like, no, I'm not doing the bonuses. So I want to post it in the podcast feed separately, so that people know that it's not just me doing what I'm doing now, which is jibber jabbering about not much. What, Indiana? She's going to start barking. Yeah. How was everyone's weekend? I hope everyone had a lovely weekend. My weekend was, I worked. Mark worked Saturday, so I worked all day Saturday. And not that if Mark's working, then I have to be working too. I just as easily could have spent the whole day on the couch or in the pool. But there's always more work that I could be doing, writing more episodes, doing more social media, which I did do a little social media this weekend. Yeah, that's right. I came up with this time in crime, where occasionally I'll post something that's the day, on this day, however many years ago this crime happened. So I have one for tomorrow to post. But there's always, I could work 7 days a week. Now, when I say work, I don't mean that it's making me money, but I just mean I could keep myself busy with doing things for Jim, cutting more clips of his social for his socials. Although we have a Mike, the I don't know what to call him, like the technical producer / editor. He's magical at what he does. He's so good at video editing and cutting social clips and stuff. So I almost hate to step on his toes with that. But like I could do that so that there's more stuff to post to socials and come up with segment ideas for the show. There's always more stuff I could do there. Definitely more stuff I could do with Death by Southwest. And then, of course, my teachers pay teachers, looking for jobs. So, like, I could keep myself working, and I'm saying working with air quotes because, like, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm being paid for it, but doing work-like things for 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know? I mean, I've always wanted to write a book. One summer when I was teaching, I did go to Barnes & Noble every day. I got 80 pages written of a book that I wanted to write. And then I never went back to it. And now I don't want to write that book. Oh my goodness, that's so rude. See, I should cut that out, but I'm not going to. And I'm actually going to read you. I got 2 emails to our website, which I love. It's kind of like they're few and far between that we get emails at all, but messages like to our website, which I really enjoy. And so we got one Tuesday and one yesterday, and they were both great. So from Brooke, and I'm obviously not going to share her last name, but she wrote into the Death by Southwest website and was asking about the medicine that I mentioned for Henry, like the chemo pill, that's $900 a month. She was asking what the name of it is because she has a pony that has cancer, and she said that she got a year's supply of this particular medication. I don't know how to pronounce it. Piroxicam. It was like $250 for a year's supply, which, I mean, honestly, I think that we could find a way between myself and Mark to pay $250 a month if that's what it was. I mean, that'd be tough, but like a lot easier than $900 a month. Like, you know, that's something that I think we probably consider or do. Where'd that message go? So she was saying that also we could probably get the medication from a regular pharmacy or have them compounded, which I just found a compounding pharmacy in Tucson that I started using, which is great. And she said the pony was a rescue and he had cancer on his penis and on his eye. And it did cost $7,000 to have him treated, but they had a payment plan. So she was supporting our idea to get a second opinion or to go back to our regular vet. Or she said, try a vet college, which is actually a really interesting idea. I don't know anything about how that would work. I mean, I believe that here in Tucson, the University of Arizona has a great veterinary school. I don't know what that would entail, but I've written all those things down and I am going to look into those things. First and foremost, we are trying to get an appointment up at the Phoenix, the same office as our cardiologist. Is the oncologist. They have an oncologist, and that's who we want to get a second opinion from. So, yeah, I didn't even think of that, like compounding pharmacies and, you know, just, so I really just want to say thank you. Thank you, Brooke. I hope your pony's doing okay. And thank God for people like you who are rescuing a pony and then willing to, you know, do whatever it takes to help him with his cancer. And thank you for the suggestions. Like, those are really good suggestions. I really appreciate it. And anyone else who has suggestions or thoughts, please, like, some of my favorite messages I've gotten are when I'm asking you guys for advice on, like, I think I asked about the, like, under desk treadmill, which, like, obviously now is not going to happen because that's super low on the list of priorities as opposed to, like, helping Henry. But I got a couple of great suggestions on that. And just, you know, I posted something the other day. One of our patrons sent a text message to our phone number. See, now if Mike was editing this on the video, he'd have like the phone number pop up right now or the email pop up. And I can do that. I don't, but I should, I guess. One of our patrons sent me a message that I posted on Instagram saying that she loves, like she tried the bitchin' sauce after we talked about it a long time ago. And now she like eats it all the time with her cottage cheese. And I told her at Costco, at least like 2 weeks ago, maybe they had 3 different bitchin' sauces for like $10. And 2 of them I had never heard of. One of them was a pesto bitchin' sauce. And one of them was a Bombay bitchin' sauce, which is like very Indian flavors. And both were great. Okay, don't know how I got there from cancer, but we did. Now we're going to go back to the next email that we got, which was from Callie, I think is how you say it. I'm guessing it's Callie and not Kaylee. I always, whenever I do that, and I will forever do that. Like that's something that like, I'm sorry if it annoys you. I'm not going to, again, I've explained this before. My name was mispronounced all the time when I was a kid. So I'm always going to try to say somebody's name correctly. And especially if it's a listener, I'm not just going to assume that I'm saying it correctly. I'm going to, say this is how I think it's set. Just like I was saying Micah's name, who's one of our patrons and I feel like has been listening forever. I was saying it, now I can't remember, Mika, and I felt like an asshole for saying it wrong. So, but I know we've gotten several messages where people are like, who the fuck cares how it is? Just say it how you think it should be said and move on. But, I'm getting pretty comfortable just being really exactly who I am and like take it or leave it. We're still not going political, but so Callie, if I said that wrong, please correct me. She says that she grew up in Tucson and got the heck out of here. But this is a really nice compliment and something that I never really thought of. She said, the way you guys have the podcast set up is totally for people who are neurodivergent that can't focus on one singular thing for shit. The banter and friendly conversations lets people like us tune out and tune back in, just like we do in real life. But it's also captivating because of the dynamic. She says she loves the fact that we're sisters that get along. She said that the 2 of us is very much like her and her friends sitting outside after work having a conversation. They, usually leave after 15 minutes, but they definitely have like accidentally stayed for 3 hours just chatting it up. And she says the podcast, it's personal, it's random, but it still has the main story. Neurotypicals hate that. It's like a plague to listen to people just be goofy and be themselves. They want to get from point A to point B and have a very straightforward podcast. And she says, but they can suck it because y'all are doing just fine. And then she suggested a case that I'm going to talk about in a second. But I really appreciate that. I've obviously heard neurodivergent and neurotypical and had a general understanding of what it meant, but I don't think I ever thought of it in the context of this podcast or myself even. And for sure, I don't know if it's with age or just like this time period in my life. I'm not sure, but like the neurodivergency is real and I've noticed it honestly from doing these episodes by myself often and the ones with Jenna or Mark, but especially by myself, like I don't know how I get from this topic to this topic to this topic to this, then back around here. Like it's like, again, I think I said last week, I feel like it's like a pinball machine sometimes when I'm on here talking to myself. But I like that. That's interesting. Like allows you to kind of zone in, zone out. Like I haven't listened to Justin Long's podcast in a while, but when I loved listening to it on my walks because it was entertaining and interesting. They were never talking like, I don't listen to the celebrity interviews. I would only listen to the bonus episodes that were him and his brother just like shooting the shit. Because when I was listening, it was super entertaining. I'd laugh out loud. It was funny. It was relatable. Some of it was relatable. And then other times when I was on my walk, like my mind would zone out and I'd be, thinking about whatever. And then 8 minutes later, I'd come back and be like, oh shit, I missed a bunch. But like, I don't have to rewind. But these true crime podcasts that I mentioned, that I've been listening to, like In the Dark and the FBI one, like I found myself on my walk yesterday or today having to press like rewind. I had to rewind to through the same part like 6 times because I'd put it on and I'd start listening and then my mind would like go somewhere else and I'd totally miss it. Don't know where else I was going with that one, but that was a really insightful and kind message to get. So thank you, Callie. She also mentions a case that she said, maybe you can find out more about this. She said, I think it was 2 guys who were deaf who lived in Arizona, possibly Tucson, and they went down to Mexico, but only one of them came back. She thought maybe one of the guys' names was Gabe or something like that, and she thinks it was sometime between 2014 and 2018. I'll be totally honest. I did spend some time looking today. There is a lot of really, really awful stories about people who go missing in Mexico, both from the United States and who are Mexican residents. It's a real problem. Wow. And I knew that, but I read a few articles that got real specific and like just, oh God. I would love to, like I always wanted to do some type of true crime, something on like the cartels and maybe not even true crime, just crime. No, that doesn't make sense because it is true. True crime now, it's like such a popular genre and like such a thing that sometimes when I hear true crime, my brain kind of goes to like, oh, storytelling. But that's not actually, I mean, that's not what it is. It's real crimes, obviously. Callie's message is literally in action right now, happening in real time on this podcast. So if anyone, I mean, like that sounds fascinating, and I hate using that word because it's tragic. I'm sure the story is tragic, but it sounds interesting. I would love to know more. I'm going to continue trying to find more, but there's not a lot to go on there. So I don't know, maybe somebody has heard of this story and knows more, even slightly more. If you do, please send it to me. What else? Let's see. Took some notes in my phone's app, in my notes app, in my phone's app. God, there's this like whole thing happening on TikTok that I kind of wanted to talk about. I don't actually give a shit about it at all. And I really don't, you guys know, I don't watch TikTok unless I'm in the shower. So I get a very small snippet of TikTok in the shower every day. And my TikTok, like the algorithm has kind of conformed to like inspirational, motivational stuff, health stuff, and entertainment stuff, like movies, Hollywood stuff. So maybe we'll circle back to this. Anyone who's on TikTok, I'm sure knows that there's like this whole Blake Lively drama. And like I said, I don't really give a shit at all, honestly. Okay, fine. We'll just get into it now. Except for that. Okay. Let me start again here. TikTok, anybody who doesn't go on TikTok or doesn't use TikTok, yes, there are like trending dances and trending hashtags and all that kind of stuff. But there's also and there's a lot of different sides to TikTok. But like the downfall of J-Lo, that was a big thing on TikTok for a while. Like everyone making fun of that movie that she made, which looked horrific, and how she's really not self-aware. And like it was like I couldn't get on TikTok without seeing videos about J-Lo and how she's like really unrelatable and not a really nice person, which I had my own adjacent experience, we'll say, with her, and wasn't impressed with her. I just wasn't impressed with her, period. I guess that's a full stop statement. She was not friendly. That's all. And I have no idea. Don't know Blake Lively at all. Never, ever has my path crossed with her throughout my work. But this all started with about the movie that her and this actor Justin Baldoni that just came out called, oh my God, am I gonna not remember? It Ends With Us. That's what it's called. It Ends With Us. And it is a book. So it's adapted from a book by, I want to say Colleen Hoover is her name, maybe. And it is a story about this couple and about intimate domestic violence. And it's a pretty serious movie from what I understand. I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to that. And I have not read the book. I would like to read the book. It is, so Justin Baldoni, the actor, he directed it and stars in it. And this is kind of like his brand. He was on Daddy Issues with Joe and Oliver. And both of them were like, he's the most like sensitive man ever. Like they were blown away by it. And me as well. He was very, very, very polite, very nice, very authentic and genuine seeming. Again, this is an hour over Zoom, so who knows. But my interaction with him was lovely. And his whole thing is really like self-reflection and examining yourself as a human, for sure. But since he's a man, he talks to the male perspective of this and examining yourself as a man and how you treat women and how you treat other men. And, you know, I know everybody hates this buzzword now, but toxic masculinity and abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Like he has, it's obviously something that's a subject that's very important to him. And there may be more to that story. I don't know if it's personal. He's had personal experience. I don't know. But I do know that he had like a podcast that was largely about that, about like what it means to be a man and how, violence is in, I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't. I know like the surface of this. However, so he's directing this movie and starring in it. Blake Lively is also starring in it. Apparently she like wouldn't sign on unless she could have some type of ownership over it, like be a producer. So she's also a producer on it. Which a lot of times when actors are producers on movies, it just means they want some power or control over some decision making. A lot of times it also just means that they're putting money into the movie. I don't know if that was the case here, but she did want some power or control over decision making, and those decisions were the music apparently, and I think the wardrobe. And from what I've heard, the music is way off base, and the wardrobe is like all designer, like very obviously designer clothing that her character would never wear. Like that's not what this movie's about. And I did see some of her press interviews, and I was like, I thought this movie was about domestic violence. And she says it's like a fun, flowery, like chick flick. Like it's romantic and it's spunky and, or whatever she said. I should cut in some of her interview stuff here. So she's portraying it as this movie that I don't really think it is, or it's not supposed to be. And she's also using the premiere of the movie to launch and promote her new hair care line, which apparently is terrible. And also her booze line, Betty Booze, something like that. Like her booze were at every premiere event and screening and had like special signature cocktails. One of them was named after the main guy in the movie who is the abuser. Like that seems like a really tone deaf idea. I mean, all of what she's doing seems really tone deaf. Like if you're uncomfortable talking about domestic violence, don't be in this movie, first of all. Second of all, shut up then. Just shut up and let the rest of the cast and the director and let everyone else, the author, talk about the movie and talk about the importance of it and how meaningful it is. And shut up. Don't, like she's trying to it's like she was trying to hijack the movie to make it fit her agenda of promoting her new hair care line and her booze line and whatever else. I thought maybe this is just something that TikTok like kind of, exacerbated and whatever. But then now all these interviews are circulating that like had never been posted before of her from the past. She does one with I can't remember who, some other actress. And she's just straight up mean to the interviewer, like fucking rude. And that's not shocking. I mean, here's the thing. Celebrities are just people too. And there's a shitload of really rude, tone deaf, not self-aware humans in the world. Like every day, I'm sure that most people encounter some of them. Why would we not think that celebrities are too? And the only reason is because I just got an alert on my phone. Sorry. From my Citizen app, which I've posted about before. It says, large group of students fighting on West University Drive. I really wish I paid for the the upgraded version so I could see more of that. Or if you pay for the upgraded version, you can hear like the 911 calls and, police reports and things like that. Large group of students, approximately 50 students are fighting. Wow. Yeah, see, there's a 911 call, but I can't hear it or see the transcription.
Birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, whatever the occasion, it just got a little more personal with meaningful photo gifts from Shutterfly. Add a silly photo to a gold-rimmed mug for your bestie. Put your sweet puppy on a cozy fleece blanket for your teen. Gift your husband a desktop plaque featuring all the kids. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with code POD40 at Shutterfly.com and make something that means something.
Anyways, that distracted me. What doesn't distract me, right? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with all of that. I mindlessly allowed myself to get involved in it today and was listening to some TikToks talking about it. Actually, while I was driving, I was not watching them, but I did have my head earbud in and was listening. She just sounds like a real shit person, honestly. And like, that's fine. There are shitty people. I think it's crazy that we idolize celebrities so much because they are just people. And of course, some of them are shitty. A lot of them probably are. And a lot of them are fucking fantastic and wonderful and great. But so it's like not that shocking. But what is shocking is that this is it's always been a very serious topic. I hate to say this. It's a very in topic. Like it's talked about. It's talked about a lot now, whereas domestic violence wasn't talked about for a long time. So it's like, how fucking, like, come on, dude. And also, like, don't you have people? I know, like, she does. She has a whole entire PR team. Where are they? They were sleeping through all of this, clearly, because anybody would be able to say, this is not a good idea. Like, this is not the movie to promote your hairline and your booze and talk about fashion. I don't know. That was less interesting than I thought it was going to be. But I don't know. Maybe I'll post one of the videos or cut it into this for Patreon or something. What else? I was driving today to take the dog that I walk during the year when it's not 500 degrees outside. During the summer, I take him to doggy daycare and then I pick him up and bring him back home from doggy daycare, several days a week. And so I was driving him today and I kept hearing like this scratching on the outside of my car on the passenger side. So somebody's backed into that passenger side. I've scraped that passenger side along a fence. Like, my car's not in great shape. So I thought, well, maybe maybe a piece of it's coming off. I walked around the car when I took him into doggy daycare. I was like, nah, I don't see any of it coming off. Maybe something's in the tire. No, nothing in the tire. Weird. I was like, okay, maybe let me just make sure the door's shut all the way. And I got my car to go back home. Still, just like I don't know how to, like a little scratching, a little tapping. And if it was nighttime, I would have been terrified that like something was attached to the outside of my car. I mean, I've seen Jeepers Creepers. It scares me. No. I realized once I stopped at the grocery store and was like putting groceries in that side, my windshield wiper, like one of the I don't know, whatever it is, I'm making a hand motion into the camera. Part of it fell off and was like flopping in the wind. So no scary monster or beast on the outside of my car. Phew. I'm looking like my notes are not great here. Actively going out of my way to avoid kittens. Yeah. Yesterday was Sunday, right? Yeah. Yesterday, Henry and I were walking and he saw something move up the tree, right around the corner from my house. So up the street and around the corner a little bit. And I was like, Henry, calm down. It's a squirrel. And then I kind of looked and I was like, no, why did you look? It's not a squirrel. It's a kitten, literally in the tree, all the way up the tree. And then there was another cat sitting on the car under the tree. These were clearly not somebody's kittens. They were just out in the world, feral kittens. And the whole rest of my walk, all I kept thinking is, should I take him home and try to get the kittens? I can't have any more cats. My cat, I didn't even want the cat that I have, and I love him now and have him, but I'm allergic to cats. I don't want cats. I hate cleaning the litter box. He hears me. He's sitting behind the computer right now and he's pushing it. I love cats. It makes my asthma terrible and I fucking hate cleaning the litter. But I do love cats and I love cat. And I would have more cats. I grew up with cats. I would have more cats. It's just not a smart idea for my lungs. And I have 2 dogs. It took them so long to get used to this cat. I don't have it in me to get through kittens. So now I just avoid that street entirely. It's a street that I drive down often, walk down every day with Henry. And now, no, I don't. We just go a much longer roundabout way to avoid that area because I'm terrified that I will either see one of them hit by a car in the street or realize maybe I could get this kitten and then get it. And then what? I already saw something I sent to Mark the other day that not even the animal control here in Tucson is full. They desperately need people to foster. And I sent it to him and I was like, I can't go there because I'll cry, but can you go pick a dog out, get a dog, get 2, I'll foster them. And he's like, let's figure out what's going on with Henry first, which I can't disagree with, but it crushes my soul to think about those animals in there, all too many and not, wow, this has been not that exciting, has it? 32 minutes. I don't know. I guess there's no real time limit on these. I really feel like I want to sit comfortably, get really relaxed in here. I guess that still works. But I don't want to be rude in the video. I had a doctor's appointment today with my online doctor who I've never actually seen in person through an app called the Circle Medical app. And it's $100 for a visit without insurance. And I don't have health insurance. So options are limited. And I like her. I've seen her for my inhalers, for my ADD, Adderall medication. I've seen her for, I see her regularly. She takes care of all those things. And so today was the annual, she was in order to keep being your doctor, we have to do an annual wellness exam, which I find all this to be hilarious because I've never seen her in person. So we're doing an annual wellness exam over Zoom. You've never met me. You can't take my vitals. It just all feels, I don't know. It feels like, really? I would much rather see a doctor in person if I could find a doctor that can see me for $100, which I don't think is really possible. Anyways, did my wellness exam and she's like, okay, so when's the last time you've been to the dentist? I was married, so we're looking at least 8 years. And then she's like, okay, and what about the gynecologist? And I was like, yeah, I mean, last time I saw a gynecologist was probably when I was trying to get pregnant with my ex-husband. So about 8 years, 9 years. And she's like, okay, well, what about a mammogram? You're supposed to get one last year. I was like, yeah, I've never had one. Mm-mm. She's like, and Kat, hey, you're unplugging my computer. He looked at me like, rude. I was like, she was like, colon cancer. Someone in your family has had it. I was like, yeah, my dad's mom had it and had like part of her colon removed years and years ago. She's like, so are you having regular colonoscopies? And I was like, no. Do you not see a pattern here? Like, no, I don't have health insurance. I'm not doing any of these things. These are luxuries of people who either have health insurance or aren't worried about the cost of these things. Like, trust. And she was like, I know, but these are, important, upkeep things. And I was like, I get it, but no, like, it's not going to happen. I mean, and I kind of wanted to like make a joke and be like, I'm just waiting to the point where like we have like universal health care or, there's a health insurance option that is not astronomical and terrible at the same time. Because the last time I tried to get health insurance when Calvary was done, it was like, well, you could pay $500 a month and basically nothing's covered. So I may as well just burn my money and go to the fucking like walk-in CVS clinic or whatever if I get sick. And I don't know what the point of sharing this was. I think it was more just to complain maybe, or to see like, maybe I'm looking for someone else to make me feel better. Are there other people who are around my age who don't do the typical healthcare upkeep things? And does that scare you? I've said this so many times in the past week to Mark, I think I am dying because Kat is not the friendliest cat. Now, granted, in his getting older years, I don't know, he's 11 maybe. Like I just found him on the street, they estimated that he was 7 when I found him. So he's probably 12 now. Anyways, I've noticed he wants to be around me a lot more. He's a lot more cuddly. He used to just kind of like want to be in the same vicinity, but please don't touch him. Now he wants to literally sit on my like chest, on my neck when we're watching TV or when I'm sleeping. Or right now he's literally sitting right here behind the computer. And they say that cats and dogs can smell cancer. So I've said that like 6 times to Mark in the past, like, Cat's telling me something. He's trying to tell me something here. Mark's like, it's fine. You're fine. But not doing the typical health, like screening things that I guess are advisable for people of my age to do. Is anybody else like scared that by not doing them, you're, gonna just drop dead suddenly of something? I don't know. This is the least uplifting podcast that I could do. And as I'm doing that, I'm thinking, man, I haven't dyed my hair in forever. Look at all this gray hair. I'm actively not dyeing my hair because I'm trying to get it back to like healthy. Oh, I have the best recommendation. Oh my God. I got a new shower head from Amazon for $18, I want to say. Cause the other one was like I'd have better luck washing my hair with a hose outside. There was just no pressure. And I was like, nothing is going to fix this. So I read that this shower head has a filter in it for hard water and also increases your pressure. And I was like, bullshit, but I'm going to still spend the $18 and find out. And it's life-changing. I don't know if the filter works or not. Like truthfully, I've only washed my hair once since I've had it, but the pressure is now we're not in like a typhoon here, but it's significantly better. I should post a video with a link because it is awesome. Really cool. And it has this feature where you can take the top, like the sprayer part off. It's a removable head one. So you can take the sprayer part off, and then it's just like a hose. So you can like really clean down your shower walls and stuff. Yeah, these are the things that get me real jazzed up at 40. So should probably change the name of this podcast to like gripes and woes of a 40-year-old person. That doesn't have the same ring to it. I had one other thing, one other recommendation. Oh, we watched last night. We watched A Quiet Place Day 1. I was kind of against it because I saw the first A Quiet Place in the theaters, and I was like, this is brilliant. And I typically don't like movies where like I love action, I love thriller, I even like superhero movies, but like I generally am not into like where you like see these. Can I say like more? Where you see these monsters like up. No, I can't stop saying it. I'm sorry. Up close and personal. And is it an alien? Is it a monster? It's not real. I don't believe that things like that exist. I believe that aliens exist, but I don't believe that giant flesh-eating monsters are going to shoot out of the sky down to Earth by the hundreds and just wipe out humanity. So movies that allude to that being there, or it's like, ooh, what is it? And maybe you see a glimpse of something, or a glimpse of a ghost or a monster or scary this or that, like fine. But ones where you're seeing these monsters, I don't know what to call them, creatures, I guess, like actively throughout the movie, it's just too fake. I just can't really get into it. But A Quiet Place, the first one, I did. I got really into it. I'm always fascinated by the way by how people come up with ideas. It's really hard to come up with something new and different nowadays. Everything's been done, arguably. Of course, that's not true. People come up with new, fresh ideas all the time. But it's hard to, at least in the movie world. Some version of just about everything has been done. So this to me was just genius that John Krasinski came up with this and wrote the whole thing. Like these creatures, and you have to be silent. And the fact that he wrote that into a movie, how do you know what I mean? That's not the easiest thing to do. Writing a movie that's super entertaining and like a thriller action movie where no one can talk. And I think he does it brilliantly. I think the first one, whether you can get on board with the whole creature monster thing or not, I think it's brilliant. I thought it was really, really well done. Really great to see in the theater. The second one, I also enjoyed. I think that the first one, nothing can top that for me. And so I was just kind of hesitant to see the third one. I was like, it doesn't even have Emily Blunt or John Krasinski in it. Like, it's not the same people. And at a certain point, I feel like let it rest. Like you killed it. You won. You came up with a new concept, great movie, and you've made 2 of them now. Like, let's not beat a dead horse. I liked it. I watched it last night. Anybody who watches it will know. I'd be curious if anybody watches it or has watched it. What do you think the hardest part of this movie was for me? And that I was like covering my eyes, like, tell me when it's over, if it's okay. I'm not going to tell you right now because I know anybody who's seen it will be able to guess right away. I liked it. I cried, which I guess is not a hard thing for me. I want to say these days, but I think I'm starting to believe that it's just always. And I'm going to save this for another one. since this just stream of consciousness bonus episode has just been, I don't know what it's been. I have no idea. I don't even know the title, what to title this. I have been having not a hard time, but maybe I did talk about this, that like death has been on my mind a lot. And I guess that's not shocking with what we just found out about Henry. One of my best friends died not too long ago. I think I did talk about this. Fuck, I didn't write it down. If I did, I said last time I'm going to start writing things down so I don't repeat myself. Somebody please, okay, 2 things. I'm going to write this down. Did I already talk about death? I think I did because I talked about the doctor, the books that I ordered. Yeah, I did. Okay, never mind. I know that. And then if anybody's seen A Quiet Place Day 1, I want to know what you think I liked it, but what was so hard for me? Whoa, I forgot that Zoom has these hand motions that pop up if you do stuff now. All right, so I won't talk about my like death preoccupation at the moment. And it's not even death, it's life. It's like living life and how like fleeting it is, and just no, I'm not gonna get into it. But if anyone wants to have a big conversation about this at some point, maybe we could do like a group Zoom bonus episode, because I've always leaned towards the more morbid side of life, and like, and I don't mean horror movies or whatever. I mean, yes, that for sure, but also just really thinking about life and death. And that sounds so much more simple than it is in my brain, and silly. But purpose and time, like time always fucks with my brain. I obviously understand the linear nature of time in the most normal sense of the word, and like how we operate with time in life. But like, you know, I can't stop thinking about like, I'm going to be older than I am. I know I'm already old, but older, like old, like 80, hopefully, if I'm lucky. That's a luxury, I know. And like, I'm going to die. And that isn't scary. It's more, did I live my life the most that I could? Like, did I love the most that I could? Did I help people? Did I enjoy myself? I don't know why I'm getting teary-eyed about this, guys. Sorry. That's what's been really on my mind. And worrying that what if my life is just like, what have I done? Like, what is meaningful? And then I can answer that question a million different ways. Nothing. And get real like deep into the self-loathe. Nothing. You've done nothing meaningful. Or like, you've done a lot. You were a teacher. You've entertained people maybe for here and there. You've saved animals. You know, like I could go either way with it. So it's more of just a rhetorical question, but it has been heavily on my mind, and I guess that's it. I don't really have any grand conclusion to that. I haven't smoked my e-cigarette, my vape pen, in 2 days. I know that's a stark change of topic, but I'm going to hold myself accountable on here so that maybe I can stick to it. I don't really need it. I have asthma. It's so bad for me. So yeah, maybe this does tie into my death conversation, because I don't want to die prematurely from something that is within my control. I'm also desperately trying to get Mark to stop smoking cigarettes. This is, if you're hearing this noise, it's like a annoying habit that I have. I always have a pen in my hand and a clickable one, and I don't notice it, but I've like had people tell me on meetings like, what is that? Stop clicking that pen. All right. Well, if this wasn't the most neurodivergent episode I have ever recorded, I don't know what is. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to do a workout video because I'm trying to really... I've lost 19 pounds in the past 2 months. And I have about 35 more to go. So the walks in the morning alone are not going to do it at this age in my life. So I'm trying to add in, I do core de force videos. I don't know if anybody's heard of those. They're like Muay Thai videos. They are fucking hard. Sometimes I can't even get through a whole one, but I at least am going to attempt that. And then I'm going to attempt to make Alfredo sauce from scratch. I've never made Alfredo sauce before, and I love it. And I have found myself buying it lately because a real easy dinner, like that's somewhat healthy for me. And I say for me because for me, my eating needs to be very high protein. I don't care about fat, like that, like fat, yes or no. Like I'm not a keto person, and low carbs. It just is. That's just how my body works. High vegetables, fruit, fine, but high protein and very few carbs. And dairy's okay, but you know, in moderation. Everything in moderation. And so an easy dinner that I like is I'll buy this packet of Campbell's sauce. It's like a creamy Parmesan Alfredo sauce, and just chicken, like boneless, skinless chicken breast that I'll shred up. A whole entire package of spinach, a whole package of mushrooms, maybe some broccoli. If I have any of those like miracle noodles, fine, throw those in there, but I could take them or leave them. And then the Alfredo sauce. And that's it. Super easy, healthy, high protein, delicious. And I was looking at the ingredients in the Alfredo sauce because I don't have enough things on my mind. I definitely should be concerned about what's in my Alfredo sauce. And the list of ingredients is just like, really? Because I thought Alfredo sauce was just like cream, butter, and Parmesan, which I looked it up, or I ChatGPT'd it, and it is. Also, for anybody who hasn't used ChatGPT, do you know that if you create an account, and I do pay for my account because I use it frequently. Ooh, I feel a cough coming on. Sorry, Patreon. I'm going to have a coughing spell. I'm going to stop. I'll tell you about the ChatGPT. I'll write it down because I found some cool things. But I don't want to keep coughing, so I'm going to stop this. And perhaps after I work out, I will record the little mini crime episode for you guys because I didn't have a new episode last week, and I apologize. And I do have a new episode for tomorrow, so don't worry. Okay, love to you all. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Callie, for emailing us on the website. Everybody on Instagram, you know I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to send you a voice message. It just takes me time. I'm getting there. So if you've written to us on Instagram, thank you. I love you. Please keep sending us emails, voicemails, text messages. All the information is in the show notes. I feel like I don't need to say this every time. And if you have stuck with me through this whole episode, then I'm going to go out on a limb and say you might be neurodivergent as well. And thank you and love you. Okay, bye guys.